Are you aware of a potential flaw in how the TSP handles beneficiaries and how it could cost you $150,000 in our example? That's what we're going to go over next. Hey, this is Mel Stubbs. I'm a financial planner at Christy Capital Management, where we help federal employees retire better. If you need individualized help, go to christycapital.com and click Talk to an Advisor. Today we're talking about beneficiary designations within the TSP. It seems like a cut and dry thing, so what's the big deal? Well, with the TSP, you're allowed to leave your TSP account to your first beneficiary. In our example, we're going to call that your spouse. The TSP will establish a beneficiary participant account in your spouse's name. The money in the account will be invested just like it was while it was in your account. So far, everything's normal. But if you look here on the tsp.gov website, you can see that a non-spouse beneficiary, so somebody that's not your spouse, they can inherit the money as well. So you can either leave it directly to your spouse, you can leave it directly to another person. But the first person that inherits your TSP, everything's good with that. But if you look down here, it says, note if a beneficiary participant dies, meaning not the original TSP account owner, but whomever you leave that TSP money to. In our example, we're going to say that's your spouse. So when your spouse dies, the new beneficiary cannot continue to maintain an account in the TSP. Also, the death benefit cannot be rolled over to any type of IRA or plan. That last statement is huge. What the last statement means is that the second person to inherit the TSP from inside the TSP will have to take possession of the money by taking a full distribution, and it will be 100% taxable in the year that they take it. This can be a huge problem. For example, let's say that there's $1 million in the TSP. Your spouse inherits it, so now there's $1 million in the beneficiary participant account. Then your spouse dies, and now somebody inherits the $1 million, and they have to take it out all in 1 year. If you look at the 2023 tax bracket, the highest tax bracket is 37% for anybody with income over $693,000. The $1 million that will be added on to whatever the other income is for that person, the simple math says that they're going to be in the 37% tax bracket. So to simplify the math, if you just apply a 37% tax bracket to the $1 million, that's $370,000 that will be going to federal taxes because they took it all in 1 year. Now in reality, will some of it be in the 24% bracket, and some of it be in the 32% bracket, and some of it be in the 35% bracket, and then some of it be in the 32% bracket? Yes, all depends on your income. But just for a simplistic view of it, definitely some of it's going to be in the 37% bracket. Now let's compare that to how it would work in an IRA. You have an IRA account and you die. You leave it to your spouse, and your spouse can inherit it, and none of it is immediately taxable. Then your spouse dies and they leave it to somebody else, and it's not immediately taxable. They can now use the 10-year rule, where they have 10 years to take the distribution. It just has to fully be withdrawn by the 10th year. So for simple math, that means the $1 million account could be withdrawn $100,000 a year over the 10 years. That puts them in a whole lot less tax bracket. Now I know this is an oversimplification of the $1 million because that $1 million is going to be growing, and they're going to have to take out more than $100,000 a year. But could they stay in the 24% bracket if they take $100,000 out a year and they file single? Yes, they could. If the person's married filing jointly, there's a chance that they could be in the 22% bracket even while taking out $100,000 a year. But if somebody had taken the $1 million all out in 1 year, they are definitely going to end up in the 37% bracket. And that's a huge difference. So with some simplified math, 37% tax on $1 million is $370,000 in taxes. 22% taxes on $1 million is $220,000 taxes. That's a difference of $150,000 in potential savings just by having your beneficiaries done correctly in an IRA. We're finding lots of people that are unaware of this rule. So what's the fix to this rule? One fix is to not hold your account at the TSP. You as the TSP account holder can move your money to an IRA when either you're 59.5 or at retirement, whichever one comes first. In an IRA, your beneficiaries are protected from this loophole. The other thing is if you're the spouse, let's say that you have a beneficiary participant account. Just know that if something happens to you, your beneficiary is potentially going to be subject to higher taxes. You can roll your account out into either your own IRA if you're a spouse of the original TSP account holder, or to an inherited IRA if you're not the original spouse. The main thing here is that the beneficiary participant account holder cannot die within the TSP, or you're putting your beneficiary at risk for higher taxes. This is something that's totally avoidable by using an IRA. If you're interested in seeing some of the other drawbacks of using the TSP, then check out this video right here. What are the 8 things that the TSP still didn't fix? The TSP has some features that you don't like, then you can move your money out to an IRA. If you need help with these type of things, please reach out to us. My name is Mel Stubbs. I'll talk to you soon.